Welcome, everyone. It's Friday. Oh, yes, it is. You see, I remembered it was Friday, but I forgot. But we are here. And I got a message, and it says, Angela, can you go over again how to apply it to everyday life? Well, let's do that. Look outside wherever you are right now. I'm going to give you the analogy again. If you're somewhere where it's warm, well, you're going to have bugs, ants and bees, ladybugs, and those kinds of things. You'll have those little guys. Where I am, well, we don't have those right now. We have other things. We have snow, and more snow, and more snow, and cold wind. But how does that translate into everyday life in the application of the principles of the laws? Simple. For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, here's how you do it. If you say, but Angela, I am afraid to talk to people. I don't know how to start a conversation. I don't even know where to begin. People are so intimidating. I can't do that. How do I apply the law to that situation? Here's how you do it. You have a field. In this case, it's my sidewalk. And there are no footprints in it at all. So somebody's got to start walking in it so that a pathway can, be laid down. So what you do naturally, because you're going to go outside and you're going to see this sidewalk and you got to get to the car. So what are you going to do? You're going to go outside and put your foot. Hopefully you're wearing your boots. If you're like my neighbors or the people who came into the liquor store the other day, their little dog was wearing booties. Yeah, so that their little feet don't get cold. So, you have boots on and you step into the snow. That first step will tell you how deep it is. Does it cover your boots? No? Good. Keep going. It covers your boots. You're going to get a little bit of snow in your boots. Your feet will get wet a little bit. You'll be all right. So you step, 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 step. You have a pathway in the snow. You go about your day. You're going to come home. And it may not have snowed a lot, but that pathway is still there, slightly covered by the snow that fell throughout the day while you were gone. Where do you think you're going to walk again to come back up to the house? You're going to step in those same footsteps that you stepped into to leave the house. So you put your feet in the footprints that are already there and you come right back up to the house. Now, let's move it from there. Remember, as above, so below. So below is the footsteps you just did. Above would be what? You walk into a room and there's people in there. And you're looking at how many people are in the room and you're like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. That's like stepping into the snow for the first time. All right? You get a little bit of snow in your boots, which means what? There's a lot of people in that room and you feel like everybody is looking at you. And you think that everybody's talking about you. That's okay. What do? You take your first steps. Is there some punch up there? Is there something like that? Are there hors d'oeuvres? Go up there and take something. Put it in a napkin. And as you go up to that table and you don't know what to say, look at the food. And you say it out loud. You say, wow, this is lovely. I've never seen any such thing so beautiful before. How creative. And the person next to you may say, yeah, or they may say nothing. But you put your first steps in the snow. You spoke out loud. And then you take a bite and you chew because you don't talk with your mouth full. Hello. And you chew, and once you swallow, you say, wow, that tastes, listen, even if it tastes kind of, ooh, you say, wow, that's tasty. And the person next to you will respond. Oh, they will. And then look at that. You've spoken twice. And then you've been acknowledged one of those two times. So you stay where you are. Somebody will come up and say, "Excuse me," because they want to try something at the table. You say, "Oh, I'm sorry." And you slide to the side and you say, "Ooh, this one tastes good." Or, "Oh, wait, you might want to try that one." And you make a suggestion. You may get one person who says, "Oh, mind your business. I'll try what I want," because maybe they're having a bad day. But that's okay. You spoke 3, 4 times. So what are you doing above in your mind now? You are telling yourself, "Wait a minute. I can speak to people." And because you started to, they responded, you continued to speak. So now you are laying down a psychological pathway, just like you laid a physiological one down in the snow. You had to take the first steps. So if you're afraid to speak to people, you start speaking to one. Who's that one? You, out loud. Wow, this spread is nice. This is where you start every single time. This is how you apply it to your everyday life. And what happens is, because remember, you came home and the footsteps were still there, and you stepped right back in them. So, which means now, as you go through the evening in this little gathering that you're at, and you feel so self conscious, you think everybody's looking at you, talking about you, you just keep saying short little things. "Oh, wow, nice dress." Or, "I love your hair." Those are just simply footsteps. And you're going to follow them the next time, and the next time, and the next time, and the next time. Which does what? Builds your confidence to tell you that you can speak to people. Oh, you can. And you will come across someone who could be cantankerous. That's okay too. But you will also come across people who will hold you up and talk to you like I do for at least 20 minutes, telling you about this or that. But the point of the matter is, you've laid down in your mind the pathway to speak to people. That's what you've done. That is how you apply the principles. Which principle is that, Angela? Correspondence. Well, it's all 7 of them because you can't break them apart. First, you had to become aware of the fact that you were scared to even be in that room. But then you told yourself, wait, let me polarize myself over here. Meaning, I'm going to go towards the food, right? Go towards the food. Food is one of the things that will bring people together and give them something to talk about. So that's how you apply that. If you feel like, you say, "Well, Angela, what if I have a stammer?" Stammers tend to get worse the higher the level of anxiety, because that is the principle of rhythm. Rhythm compensates. You will find that if you relax and breathe, even though you're scared, the stammer, yes, may still be noticeable, but it will not be as intense as if you were petrified to speak. So you don't worry about the stammer and who's going to judge your stammer. You breathe and you relax so that the stammer is less pronounced. And you will find that as the conversation opens up, you become more relaxed and the stammer just abates itself. Pay attention to that. Because in traditional Chinese medicine, the stammer is equated to the tongue, right? But the tongue is the heart. Tip of the tongue is the heart. Scripture would tell you, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Yes, but then you have to remember, how does that heart feel? Is it anxious? Is it depressed? Is it excited? Is it happy? Even if, because remember, it is the level of intensity of the emotion that will dictate how the stammer comes out. You could be anxious, the stammer is going to be there, it will be pronounced. You could be excited, the stammer will be there and it will come out. So those two things are the same. They're the same energy, the anxiety and the excitement, because they're fast moving. Anger, same thing. So then that should tell us that if we breathe and relax, the stammer slows itself down naturally. So you see, you can apply these principles in every facet of your life. You're going for a job interview. You're going for a job interview. I'll give you an example from my life. I told you guys before how I have gotten some of the books that I narrate. It's not the first time I've done it, and it won't be the last. I came across a book, and I read the synopsis, and I was moved, and I said, God, I gotta read this book. I gotta read this book. I have got to narrate this book. And what did your girl do? I wrote the writer. What else was I gonna do? How was I gonna get to audition for the book? I wrote the writer. And I said, I am moved by your book, and I would love to audition for it. And so I send them a short snippet. Some will respond and say, well, let's work together. Others will say, I'm okay, but thank you. You're good though. Right? That's how you apply the principles. Why? When you step out in the snow, you've got to be bold with that step. You can't tiptoe. For those of you who've never walked on ice before, we got to be like penguins. Penguins do that waddle. Why? Because you slip. And the waddle helps to keep you standing upright instead of falling. So you have to walk confidently, even though you look ridiculous. You look like a penguin, but you still have to have confidence when you do it. What is the worst they're going to tell me? That I suck? Okay. And I still have to narrate the book because it's so compelling. They can't tell me anything that I haven't heard before. So I will enter that space. I will enter that email with confidence. That's the principle of realism. You know what you are. You know what you're good at. But Angela, what if I don't know what I'm good at? You do know what you're good at. You, chances are, like most people, are just afraid of being judged. Because what have we heard all of our lives? Starving artist is what we hear. But do you know that art is the face of God? Anytime anybody expresses something from out of the depths of themselves, it takes courage to do so. Whether you sing or you dance, you draw, you paint, what you express. I was watching these young girls from Barbados, the National Cultural Foundation, the NCF. This one girl was drawing since she was 2. Mm. And she just turned 15, so she'd been drawing for a while. And she said, well, I just have to draw. Now, is she Van Gogh? No, but she's who she is. So confidently, when she was 2, do you see what I'm saying? We lay down those footprints somewhere first because we have to. Because laying down the footprints gives you a way back. It gives you the opportunity to repeat it again. And the more you repeat it, the more bold you become. Now, listen, I can tell you, somewhere in her life, somebody wasn't very nice. But you see, the desire to express oneself through your art is stronger than any insult that you may hear. But then you've got to put insults in their place. This is how you apply the law. When somebody insults you, remember, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. They're not talking to you about you, they're telling you about them. They don't know you. So they can't be speaking to you about you. The only person who can speak to you about you is you, because it is you in your skin. It is you in your mind's eye. It is you. So you can only express yourself. You can't come and tell me about me. What you know about me? So you don't have the power to insult me. So to apply the principles, you must stand firm in the principle of mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental, which means what? You know who and what you are. That first foundation stone, what happens to the foundation? A foundation has to be strong and secure. Of course it does. In my line of work, sometimes when there's a problem at the foundation, water gets in, which creates a problem, weakens the structure. So you've got to fix that. So the foundation, if the foundation of a house or a building has to be strong to hold the whole thing up, well, then your foundation of who you are has to be the strongest stone. Because if that is shaky, nothing stands. So you see, the foundation of a house, it will tell you how strong that structure is and what you can put on top of that foundation. The foundation of your life, which means who and what you are, has to be strong, because now you can build your character from there. You can build your confidence from there. So you see, there's nowhere you can turn in this world that you cannot apply to your life. We have sound effects. You know why sound effects happen? When someone gives a super chat, there is a sound effect. Queen Marat Rogers. Woo! Thank you, Queen Marat. What a blessing. Thank you. I know something moved you this morning. You see, cause and effect. We're looking at it in real time. Something I said landed somewhere within her. You know, when you hear or you see something and the reaction that comes out of you, it moves you, and it moves you to act. You never have to think about it, you just do it. AKA inspired action. So there's nowhere that you can turn to. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough. You know what? To keep me from you. There's nowhere you can go that the law is not. So the law, as I told you yesterday, will never leave you nor forsake you. So apply it. But Angela, I still don't understand how to apply it. Observe. Look at what you're seeing. Look at what you're seeing when you go to the beach. And you know your girl loves going to the beach. Ow. I haven't touched the sand and sea in 8 years. Ow. But that's okay. I'm all right. All in due time, if that is my desire. At the colder it gets, yes, it is. But I digress. When you go to the beach and you walk along the sand has what kind of an effect? It has, you get one little grain of sand, it's not a problem. You get a couple grains of sand, whoo, they start to rub you. Yeah, don't they? Friction. And this is why if you go and you find a pumice stone at the beach, you can have smooth heels in no time. But why is that? You use the pumice stone to buff the dry skin off. If you walk in the sand, you'll do the exact same thing without it having to exert any extra effort. So what does that tell you for your life? You've got something stubborn in your life that won't move? Apply the new action to it every single day, and it will start to diminish and smooth itself out, meaning the old way is going to go away the more you do the new. That new soft skin is exposed. You go to the ocean and you stand in the water and you begin to feel the pull back and the push forward. It is called undulation, is how the water moves. It ebbs and it flows. It ebbs and it flows. The longer you stand in the water and just feel that rhythm, you can count it to know when it ebbs and when it flows. Where's that in your life? There's something that you do like clockwork. There's something that you experience in your life. It comes and it goes. It could be eczema. It could be psoriasis. What, you thought those things weren't governed by law? Let me tell it to you this way. I told you, you'll be able to count the rhythm of the ocean as it ebbs and flows. If you suffer eczema, it flares up. When does it flare up? When does it abate? Watch your life and you will see when that eczema, when that psoriasis comes to the surface. You'll see when it happens. What are you doing when it happens? How are you feeling when it happens? And then you'll be able to know what to do. Well, if you realize that the height of emotion brings on a flare up, what do you have to practice? Being calm. Because it makes it abate. It reduces it. There is nowhere that you can go in your life that does not have the principles. If you are in labor, all of you who given birth, if you are in labor, what's the first thing they ask you? How far apart are the contractions? What do you mean, how far apart? How far apart are there? There's an ebb and there is a flow. When there is an ebb, meaning when the contraction abates and you get a moment to breathe, that's when you should breathe. That's when you should take a rest. Why? Because you've got to gather your strength. You gather the strength when the contraction stops. Because you're going to need it for when the contraction starts again. It ebbs and it flows. You don't fight the ebb and flow. You go with ebb and flow. When it ebbs, you ebb. When it flows, you flow. So that's why they tell you when you're in labor, if you squat, you see, squatting, is going to be a little bit more painful. Yes, it is. But it'll speed things up so that you labor less. There is a natural ebb and flow. Labor is not punishment. It is not penance, contrary to popular belief. It's simply a shortening of the cervix. So you've got to move forward and back. And every time you move forward and back, it shortens more. Ew. Relax yourself. That's how we got here. As within, so without. Right? So all I'm showing you, look around your life every day. You don't even have to go searching. You don't have to dig into the couch. You just have to open your eyes and hush. Just watch. And you will see where your natural rhythm is. Listen, we see that we have such a natural rhythm. What do they call it? Your what? Your circadian rhythm. What is your circadian rhythm? Your sleep cycle. What is it though? A rhythm. An ebb and a flow? You mean a time to sleep and a time to be awake? Yes. So much so that when you have to understand now why your device at night can be a detriment. You see, the retina and awakefulness is triggered by light so that you wake up. So if your phone has the white light, you stay awake because that's what happens to the eye. The eye says, oh, light, I should wake up. So if you have light when you should be asleep, you'll stay awake. And the more you do that, you begin to form a habit where you should be sleeping, but you stay awake. Now, in the darkness, when the retina does not get that light upon it, melatonin is released naturally. And what happens there? You yawn. You get groggy. Melatonin makes you want to rest. But we think because we can go and buy melatonin at the store. No, your body makes it naturally. Your body makes it naturally. This is why working the night shift is so doggone difficult. You're you're breaking Jesus, give me strength. And I always tell you you can't break law. You can't break the law. You break you though. You can't you can disrupt your sleep cycle by working the night shift. And your body pays the price for that because you cannot break the law. The sleep cycle is still night and day, darkness, light. That is the sleep cycle. We sleep in the dark, we wake up with the light. Even though you work the night shift, the cycle does not change. The sleep and wake cycle is still there. So you can't break the law. Your body just ends up exhausted. So again, you apply the principles in every area of your life. If you don't want to work the night shift, ain't it the Commodores? Night shift. You found another home. I know you're not alone on the night shift. You know what? I digress. If you don't want to work that night shift job anymore, because you naturally want to change, what job would you prefer to be doing? And then what do? You start applying for them naturally. But you don't just apply because you're desperate. We don't practice desperation because we know as within, so without. We know that desperate times call for desperate measures. But calm times, well, those are calm measures, are they not? So if you don't want to work the night shift, but you would prefer to work something else. But Angela, pilots, again, we travel. But Angela, surgeons and doctors, we have health crises. So cause and effect. Okay? But if you know that is something you don't want to do anymore, what do you want to do instead? And you know that once you see it, You breathe life into it when you see it in your mind's eye and you say, yes, this is the new job I would prefer. And then a funny coincidental thing starts to happen. Because you know how we like these words, coincidence. The interior thought you're having matches the exterior experience. Oh my God, I was thinking of you. And there you have your coincidence. You're going to go online and you're going to start seeing all the jobs that you want to apply for. Now, do you have to hope and wish? No. You know that if I apply, I'll get the job. Well, is that not what happens? You apply, you get it? You don't apply, how do they know? Because I apply, the effect is the job. Cause and effect. You don't have to wish and hope for anything. That's where that confidence is. The confidence is not in the application. The confidence is, when I say application, I mean the job application. The confidence doesn't come from the job application. The confidence comes from knowing that if I apply, I get. This is why we ask, because we know we'll be answered. We knock because somebody's going to open the door. You looking for something, you'll find it. That is the law. And the beauty about the law is it is so inconspicuously obvious. It's inconspicuous because it's running in the background, and if you're not looking, you'll miss it. And you'll say, oh, please, that's nature. That's how you'll miss it. You think nature is random and haphazard? No. She is by design. Somebody thought about it and put it together. So, how are you going to apply these principles in your life? You apply them one step at a time. And you keep walking in that footstep that you've just made over and over again. What does that look like inside your brain? It looks like a memory, a neurological pathway that you take every time you drive your car the same way. Oh, yes. Ask Lewis Hamilton, he'll tell you. He'll tell you. He drives around that track the same way. He learns how to brake and speed up the way his daddy taught him. He learned how to do it. Danica Patrick, same thing. She learned how to drive the way she does. So you and I, every single day, when we learn something and we do it 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 again, it forms a memory. A memory is a neurological pathway. And that is the thing you will continually do. So in order to do a new thing, you've got to form a new memory. So things don't just happen out of the blue. They happen by way of law. And you are the one with the doing of it that causes the change to occur. You do it. Well, I can't do it for you. You've got to do it. That's what will make your life change. And every day you get up and you do it, you will get up and do it the same way again tomorrow until you don't have to remember to do it. You just do it. So look around you and you will see that there's seed time and there's harvest. There's a time to act and there's a time to rest. And if you pay attention, you will see that it is naturally occurring. You don't have to force sleep, honey. No, you don't. Believe me, child, I can sleep anyway. At my desk at work. Shh. Don't tell nobody. I can sleep anywhere. If you're tired, that's the thing you'll do. Right? So, I trust that these examples were helpful to you and that you will look at your life without judgment. What do I mean by judgment? When you look at your life, don't be sitting there talking about, oh my God, my life is so hard. Shit never changes. No, look at it and see the pattern. And we know what happens with patterns, don't we? We can change patterns. Don't they call it neuro-linguistic programming in that one? NLP? Changing patterns is all you're doing. The principle of rhythm tells you that. You can change any pattern in your life. Well, how do you change it? By doing the new one more than you do the old. And then the new one takes shape. It lays itself down. It becomes muscle memory for you. So that is why when Neville Goddard tells you, persist, he's not telling you persist because you're delusional. He's telling you persist in the new behavior because the new behavior sets down the new memory, which takes on the tones of reality. Thereby, you live by it now. So when you are imagining your new life, you don't throw in the towel and say, oh, I'm just delusional. You know what makes us delusional? When we think we're the ones doing the work. All you and I get to do is to hold the image and do the action that matches. But the law does everything else. You're delusional if you think you can plant corn and get peas. Because that's never going to happen. So you can hope and wish all you want. So that should tell you as within. And without judgment means do not browbeat yourself because you feel like a failure. Oh my God, I'm such a failure. Where? As Daddy always says, failure is a man who never tries. Failure is a man who never tries. So how can you be a failure? You're not a failure. You get up and like that little baby, are you going to, listen, are you going to call that baby a failure because it fell down when it's learning to walk? So why would you tell you that? When you and the baby are doing exactly the same thing. Learning. Who in Tom Petty? Learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. You're learning to do something. And as we learn and we practice, we stumble. But when you recognize where you have stumbled, you keep practicing until the stumbling stops. But if you give up part way between, you will always stumble because you didn't get rid of it. And the only way to get rid of the stumble is to practice. So you practice changing your mental attitude from where it is to where you want it to be. Day in and day out. That is the law. So I trust that today, because your girl has, according to YouTube, chatted for 38 minutes. Ooh, Lord. Duck must pick your water. Ay. That's what my grandmother used to say. You don't, I'm sure I told you what that means. The duck picking your water means the water is disturbed, so you can't keep still. So your mouth is always moving. That's what my grandmother used to tell me when I was a small girl. Hey, you never stop. You duck pick your water, eh? And I never knew what it meant until now. But I digress. The only way that we learn is through practice. Even if you get a vision and you see what to do, you still have to do it. You get a song in the middle of the night and you jump up, you still got to turn on the piano or pick up the guitar and play it. So you see, you will always have to act. And that is the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. Look, let me welcome everybody who's here. Queen Marat, You must say hello to your lovely darling daughters. You must. Ray of Sunshine is in the house. Hey, girl. And I know Melly Mel is here. Because I can feel you. And, uh, my dearest Liza. Yes. Possibly even Kimberly is here in these YouTube streets. The better man. Shoot, maybe even Jeff or Cyber. Oh, but Mr. Stafford Jr.? Maybe he's here. Who knows? I digress. Welcome to the space, each and every one of you. And again, Queen Marat, thank you for your beautiful generosity. Thank you. Yes, indeed, darling. You made my day. My dearest Tiffany and Javion. And I know if he's not here, you'll tell him I said hello. It's good to see you, my dearest Tiffany. It really is. Right here in these Twitter streets. Ray Ray is in the house. Big Mike, who is in the house? My sweet KZ is in the house. And so is Michael. Hi, Michael. You must say hello to your wife for me. Indeed. Because I know you guys are usually driving. But thank you all for being here on this glorious morning. And remember, there's nowhere that you can go where the law has not already beat you there. Oh, yes, darling. So you might as well get used to it and start using it. You know how to use it. Yes, you know how to use it. Indeed, you do. Indeed, you do. Countdown initiated. 5, 4. Ah, there you are, Melly Mel. I told you I knew you were there. Ah, wait, are we on 3? 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you again for being here with us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, fan base, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And as always, if you have questions, whichever platform you feel most comfortable using, I'm on Instagram too, but allegedly I can't live stream on Instagram because I don't have 1,000 followers on Instagram. Anywho, that being neither here nor there, I will still live stream wherever I can. All right? And you can send your questions in if you have a specific question about, okay, so how do I apply the law to this situation? You see how simple it is when you don't have to tell your life story? No, don't muddy the water with your life story. What do you want to be? Answer that. And that's how we'll see our way forward. Simplicity is key. You know? Anyway, I'll see you again on Monday. I gotta post some shorts. I do. I really, really do. I have some of them made. But you know, work, 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 work. Yeah, work. She would have fun. You know what? I shouldn't even sing that song because none of my work is hard. It is all pleasurable. It truly, truly is. And it was that couple who brought in their dogs last on Wednesday. Because I remember when they got the new dog, he says, yeah, we're driving up and we're going to get a new dog because my wife fell in love with that dog and now we got to go get it. So they brought the dog in for me to see at the liquor store. OMG. His little boots, his name is Tyr. His little boots were so cute. And if you see him walk in those boots, my golly gee, he is adorable. Yes. And Fenmir. Fenmir is the other dog's name, if memory serves. And he is just beautiful. Oh, he is alert. Let me tell you, all cylinders are firing. I'll go with that one. Oh, yes. I think they're a Pomeranian cross with something else because they have that size, but they're so beautiful. And I felt so special because they brought their dog in to see me. Ah, but those boots, I could not get over the little boots. You know what it takes to put your dog in boots? You know what? Kudos to you, man. I was like, how did the dog stand still to let you do this to it? But he was so sweet. Yeah, the cutest little dog ever. I don't even remember why I told you that story, but there you have it. Anywho, I figured you might want to hear another story about somebody else's cute pets instead of just hearing about my little Roo all the time. My handsome Roo. And I said she's not broody anymore. Lady's not broody anymore. She was sleeping on the stairs. And that's when I get to kiss her because she's not going to run from me when she's asleep on the stairs. Anywho, I love you. And I will see you again on Monday. Much love to each and every single one of you. Mwah. Peace out.